Hi, my name is Deborah Henney. I'm a wife, author, mother speaker. Today I'm going to release a prophetic word entitled Posture in My Joy. Now, I started to get this on the 10th of November of 2023 and it came more fully the next day on the 11th. But this was something that was like a growing sense that God was just simmering in my spirit and something He was walking me through in my daily life. But the word that I felt Him release, I felt Him say, posture yourself to walk in my joy. And that whole line was greatly emphasized. And I felt Him say, I have said that I am pouring out joy. This is a blessing for my people, but one that they must be postured to receive. Passivity does not equate receptivity. Open your hearts, shed the baggage and hindrances, and allow me to fill you to overflowing. Do not let busyness or distraction catch your attention and miss the blessing that I am pouring out in this time. Do not allow offense or bitterness keep you out of the flow of my joy. My joy is being poured out and flowing as a golden oil from my throne room to fill my people to overflowing so it outflows into regions and nations. For many, operating in my joy will be key to unlocking their destinies. There is healing in my joy, cleansing in my joy, and purifying in my joy. So come and soak. Let it be a balm in the brokenness. Let it lift and wash away the impurities. Let it surround you and protect you as you go forth to declare my goodness and my good news. This is a purifying work, protecting work, so the buffets and arrows of the enemy cannot stick and sink into my beloved. So submit your thoughts to mine, lay them before me, and let me judge. I have said that I am judge, and that it is my spirit that is the source of discernment. Do not try to parse through on your own strength. This is a trick of the enemy designed to hold my people captive in deception. Let me judge, let me destroy, let me define, so you can bring forth my victory through your life and have a great impact. And that phrase right there was so heavily emphasized in the spirit. A great impact. So smash the preconceptions. Smash your wisdom and understanding and need to understand. Become like a child in me. Faith. Pure faith. Simple faith. Radical faith. And this last line was very heavily emphasized in the spirit. Remain in my flow and let me flow and see wonders your mind has never conceived. And I just want to pull out a couple things. One, the way that He has walked me through this word in my own life is what I call like practicing the presence, or practicing leaning into and posturing in His joy. And what that looks like in my daily life is, I just go about my life, go about my day, my, family, ministry, work. And I have myself postured in His presence and very sensitive to His presence. And I find that, sometimes a human thought will come that draws me out of that presence. And sometimes it's kind of surprising what thoughts will do that. And then I have a choice. I can hold on to the thought and be drawn further away, or I can reject the thought and press in and reposture, get right back where I was, in His presence, in His joy. And how He's, in this word, He says, don't let offense or bitterness. And, sometimes there have been times where I'm like, but God, what happened to me was pretty yucky. It was pretty bad. And not that it's not understandable, but He's calling us to release that offense. Even though that reaction of anger might be understandable, we have a choice to stay postured in the anger, or we can exchange it for His peace and for His joy. It doesn't make the offense or anything that was wrong against us right, but it gives us a choice in the atmosphere that we want in our heart. And the promise and the blessing that He has for us is that his joy, and according to the Bible, his joy is our strength. It will give us strength to get through those trials. It'll give us strength to endure. I mean, I'm just even thinking last night, I was with a group of people and we were talking about James and said, blessed is he, you know, in the trials and whatnot. And it's not that the trial is a blessing, but it's like that word blessed is like more associated with like great joy. And it was like a strategy of how to get through those trials so we can have a greater refining and strengthening in ourselves and not fall into temptation through human frailties and sin patterns and things like that. So it was like God was giving us a strategy of how to get through to the other side, and that getting through in his strength, in the bonds of peace, through his peace and standing firm in the gospel of peace, and that good news will bring about a great victory in our lives that other people can look at and say, there's something about you. And there's so much power in that, because really, you know, I've been thinking about this a lot this week. You know, if I stand in judgment, and if I stand in, you know, casting stones against my brother or sister, those proverbial stones, and judgment, or around anybody, there's a difference between judgment and discernment. Discernment can see that something isn't aligned biblically, but presses in for that breakthrough and for that blessing and for that unity. Whereas judgment will bring division and really can go to our pride and comes out of our pride, maybe our frustration. But that's not what, standing in judgment isn't what makes us different. What makes us different is standing in God's joy and in his peace and looking for that blessing and for that unity and for that love and mercy that will cover all. And as I'm talking through this, I'm thinking, you know, God has really released recently this joy and this mercy, and that there's a great blessing and a great impact in our regions, in our spheres of influences that God wants to bring through the mercy and the joy that is sourced from him, from his presence, from that deep intimacy with him. So as it says earlier in this word, to open our hearts, shed the baggage, shed the hindrances, and allow God to fill us to overflowing so we can outflow into regions and nations with his joy and with his peace. And in that position, we can have a great impact and great victory. Till next time.